Americans Magdalena and David William share a beautiful son, Josh. When they welcomed the little boy into their lives, they instantly knew that they would sacrifice anything to keep him loved, healthy, and safe. Since they always put his well-being first, they thought it would be best to bring a nanny into their family to take care of him on their working days. However, they could not have guessed that the nanny they found would turn out to be a superhero who would eventually save their son's life. Josh loved his new nanny, Elizabeth, from the first moment they met. He always felt cheerful and happy with her care. The young parents welcomed her into their little family with open arms. Elizabeth enjoyed working for the Williams, but she could never have guessed that a sunny workday would turn into a true dark nightmare. It was a hot Californian summer, so Elizabeth decided to take Josh out for some outdoor fun. It felt like any other day until the two arrived home. When Elizabeth opened the front door, she knew something was off, but she couldn't quite put her finger on it. She turned to Josh, but before she knew it, he'd passed her and run straight into the house to get his toys. She pleaded with him to come back, but it was too late. It was then that she heard pounding footsteps coming down the stairs. Her intuition had not failed her, but there was no time to think. She had to act fast to bring the little boy to safety. Fueled with adrenaline, the terrified nanny rushed into the residence and quickly grabbed the little boy. With the toddler in her arms, she ran for their life. She jumped over the gate, nearly tripping. She landed in the neighbor's garden and made her way to the house and desperately banged on their door. "Hurry! Please open the door!" she screamed. The neighbors could tell that something terrible had just happened, and they immediately called the police. The nanny's heart was still beating 1,000,000 miles an hour. Despite the fear she felt, she was also relieved that she'd managed to bring little Josh and herself to safety. But the nightmare had not come to an end yet. It felt like it took ages for the police to arrive. In reality, it was only a few minutes. A few minutes was too long, though, because the intruder managed to escape. Elizabeth nervously called David to tell him what had just happened. He immediately rushed home. Nobody knew exactly what had taken place in the house that morning until this moment. Lucky for the Williams, their house was under camera surveillance. What David was about to encounter on the cameras scared the life out of them. The surveillance showed how the intruder thoroughly searched the whole house for valuables, walking from one room to another, turning everything upside down and leaving a big mess behind. When he entered the master bedroom, he opened all Magdalena's drawers, hoping to find some jewelry. He was out of luck, and he knew it. He seemed frustrated as he paced up and down. He settled for some clothes and shoes, which he packed in his bag. It was sickening for David to see him in Josh's room. "I can't believe this," he said. "He's in my baby's room." David then witnessed how the intruder reacted to the arrival of Elizabeth and Josh. It made him realize how lucky they were not to have encountered him face to face. When Elizabeth opened the front door, the criminal decided it was time to make a move. He quickly made his way downstairs. He entered the kitchen just a split second after Elizabeth had grabbed Josh and left the house. The intruder grabbed what he could and made his way out through the back door. He ran straight toward the road, but soon slowed down his pace and carelessly walked away from the crime scene, escaping the police. David couldn't help but feel guilty for not being more mindful of the security inside and outside his home. It turned out that the intruder had used a ladder that was left outside by David to enter the house. The fact that the thief walked in the neighborhood unnoticed and broke into David's house in broad daylight still scares him to this day. "I no longer feel secure in my own home," David said. To many people, especially David and Magdalene, Elizabeth is a superhero who saved their son. Elizabeth, however, doesn't praise herself like that. "I would do it all over again if I had to. My job is to keep